people no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Poor man pikin dey the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make you shout. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, Mayegun the command of the masses. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, Mayegun diary political. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, this man not dey off in mind. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo. Aha! Now you not done here. All these bad politicians, then we call themselves politicians. When they thief our money.
Hello there. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun live.
Glory Facebook, glory YouTube. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary, Mayegun.
Thank you. Remember, share this broadcast, okay? Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them Mayegun today.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun diary political. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Godfatherism, kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary.
Olu has promised West Africans it will no longer allow any coup in West Africa. Zobo.
Àníyàn súnra kì í. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì í. Mayegun ti dé. Àníyàn súnra kì í.
Back in Nigeria, the ISWAP, the Fulani terrorists, they have resumed duties.
Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àníyàn súnra kì í. Mayegun ti dé. Wọ́n bàbá dé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àníyàn súnra kì í. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àníyàn súnra kì í.
Don't waste your time, Let's go to Guinea-Bissau. From this report, it is NTA report. Remember, share this broadcast if you can. So, Kolu had this to say on his visit to Guinea-Bissau for Ecowas head of state meeting or something like that, right? Now here.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is among West African leaders that attended the 63rd ordinary session of the Authority of the Ecowas Heads of State and Government. He was warmly received by the President of Guinea-Bissau, Umaru Sissoco Embalo, as well as other leaders. Top on the agenda were matters of regional security, the return of democracy in the republics of Mali, Burkina Faso and Guinea, which is imperative for political stability in the region. President Embalo encouraged member states to work out modalities on how to mobilize financial resources to stem the tide of insecurity and terrorism, as well as accelerate economic growth of the sub-region.
Since we assumed the chairmanship of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of ECOWAS, and in the face of multiform and unpredictable challenges, we have devoted much time and all our energy on various fronts, regional and international, in order to defend the interests of our member states through various initiatives and diplomatic efforts, carried out with the invaluable contribution of the mediators and special envoys to some along with institutions and strategic partners, in order to strengthen the architecture of peace and human security in our sub-region.
Nigeria and Sierra Leone were congratulated for their successful conduct of recent elections.
In February, a few developments have taken place in our community. We witnessed the general elections in Nigeria, which saw the emergence of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the President of the Republic of Nigeria. I would like, therefore, to welcome President Tinubu to his first meeting of the Ecowas Authority. On behalf of the community institutions, I would like to extend our felicitation and best wishes in piloting the affairs of Africa's biggest economy and the largest country, the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
ECOWAS Commission President also used the opportunity to commend former President Muhammadu Buhari while as the then chairman of the ECOWAS for ensuring political stability in the Gambia and build the institution's headquarters in Abuja. At the end of the summit, President Tinubu was elected as the next chairman of ECOWAS from July 2023 to 2024.
Let me first and foremost commit myself to the principle and rule of law. We had a lengthy discussion this morning. Till now, we must be firm on democracy. Democracy being the best form of government. We sat here, we made some sacrifices for it. We need it to be an example. Without democracy, there's no chance. There's no freedom. There's no rule of law. We will not allow coup after coup.
Special advisor on communication and strategy to the president, Dele Alake, briefed on Nigeria's strategic position.
It is the efficacy of the policies and the general acceptance of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's policies that have resulted in part into this election as the new chairman of the ECOWAS. Actually, if
I know I'm going to have a few clips for you tonight that are going to kind of get you a bit sort of, annoyed or angered somehow. But let me give you the backstory, okay? Dele Alakori just said it was because of the acceptance of Tinubu by the African leaders. That is why they elected Tinubu as the chairman of, as the head of ECOWAS. That is not true. And that is why there is not any likelihood that we are going to stop calling Dele Alake Dele Alakori. Like, you go to see, when this guy finally unravel, right? A lot of you will realize that maybe Layamo was actually his student. This one will lie unprovoked for no reason, for nothing. Now he's talking about Tinubu's policy. We'll come back to that. You see, ECOWAS, the full meaning of ECOWAS is Economic of West African States. Okay? So these are West African countries that came together to share, trade, in this instance, insecurity, and how to kind of build, continue to build relationship that keep stability. But you know something? This ECOWAS, head of state, is like the congregation of criminals from across Africa. No, you can take my word for it. These are bunch of African leaders who are mostly relics, corrupt to the tilt. Do you get that now? So Nigeria, who was supposed to be the real country that kind of whip everyone into the line, Nigeria is a mess. So there's no kind of anything that, you know what I mean, that Nigeria is going to kind of teach them as the big brother or anything. No, these are a bunch of corrupt, most of them old, right? Some of them like sick leaders of Africa. Rigging election, you know, like this is their stock in trade. Abi? So when they meet, usually they discuss problems in their member states. Okay, you have Gambia, you have Guinea-Bissau, you have Mali, you have Cameroon, you have Chad, you have Sudan. Sorry, not Sudan. Then you have Nigeria, you have Benin Republic, you have Togo, you have Ghana, you have all these West African countries, both French-speaking and English-speaking West African countries. So these are places where corruption is so bad, that 24 years ago, when Nigeria said goodbye to military coup, there has been like tens upon tens of this same military coup that have taken place, including the most recent one in Mali. So what they do is that every year, they will select one of them and say, you, it's like, turn by rotate, it's kind of rotational, yearly thing, okay? So whenever Nigeria have any new president, kind of, so when you attend that meeting, they will be, in fact, they will invite you to the meeting at a time when one of their president is about, you know what I mean? They have no real economic or even security or any benefit to any West African. It is just the meeting of kleptomaniacs, criminals who have managed to take power in their different countries. So they have something also they call election monitoring. So when they have a secretariat built for them by Nigeria in Abuja. Okay, that secretariat, they have people working there as staff. Now, member countries would then have to contribute money to run the organization. So that's why it is mostly impossible for them as ECOWAS to condemn any country in West Africa, any president. You might be going through hell in your country. Yes. El Gidi, a tyrant in your country, is a superstar in ECOWAS. ECOWAS will always say, they are talking to you. In fact, when you decide that you don't want to follow your constitution, ECOWAS can sanction you. All they will do is to plead with your country people and say, you know what, we are talking to him. We are trying to see how to find amicable means. Because what happened is that they live off that money from these member states contributed by approved by most of these criminals. So Nigeria is big brother, Abi. It's got so much money. No other influence other than just Nigeria. Do you get that? So yeah, when they got to their meeting, they decided to pick up Kolu, the new cash cow. And you know, Kolu is already looking for validation. I won't be surprised though. Excuse me. I won't be surprised if out of where they are looking for this validation, they decided to lobby it. You remember that Guinea-Bissau president who visited Nigeria? So maybe it was like, you know what, we could arrange something that could give you some level of credibility among the West African days if you mobilize fund. Sure you get. Remember when he went to France, it was like, it was like a ghost. And they said, oh, when you go to your first international meeting like that, you have to observe, you have to blah, blah, blah. But that was him there in his balabulu. Let me give you the kind of full one, okay? The one that, it's not like part of a news content, and the content belongs to the, the credit rather goes to AIT, by the way. Listen to this, like what he actually said. We will not allow any coup again. Nigeria is on fire. It could get booted out anytime if things continue the way they are. Propaganda can make you kind of, no, they say propaganda can win you election, okay? But propaganda cannot run a government. It won't be successful. Call to West Africans, the way he was actually talking to you in Nigeria. I pledge. I shaking the cock. You know what I mean? Like, you can't pledge anything, man. No one, you are.
We will not allow coup after coup. West Africa separation. We will take this up seriously with African Union and it's to the European Union and Britain and America. Take it up. It's a challenge. Yes, democracy is very tough to manage, but it's the best form of government. And we also ascribe to it. We must bite back. We can't sit like toothless bulldog and Ecowas. For the confidence reposed in me, I pledge to you, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that I will do my best. I am just new. This is my first. I'm giving a surprise package. We will work collectively to pursue inclusive economic integration of West Africa sub-region. We should serve a warning to exploiters that our people have suffered enough. We should make a pledge here that in furtherance of our region's economic recovery and growth, we will commit to democracy and promote democracy and rule of law. I am with you. In Nigeria, we are back. Thank you, and thank you very much.
Be all honest, to be sincere. Could you make any sense of everything he said there, that video? Could you make any sense out of it? Of course, apart from the buzzword, like, the buzzword like economic integration, we must all pledge to democracy. Democracy is tough. I am new. I don't know. Could you make any sense out of all he said? They are celebrating in Nigeria. For the confidence reposed in me that you have made me the leader of ECOWAS. But guess what? There is a you know that Nigeria passport is meant to be ECOWAS passport, which means you don't even need visa to go anywhere. But because you are from Nigeria, ask everybody who has tried to actually travel through all the West African countries if they were given that. You are from Nigeria. Wow. Nigerians. Oh, you know what I mean? It was all Sakaman. Like I said, could you make any sense of anything at all? Could you say, this is what he said? That is of sound. Like you can say, oh, he was talking about economic integration of Africa. What was he talking about? What was he proposing? Did he go there with something to put on after lobbying to be their president? Like, did he? Of course not. It's all word salad. Now, when I started reading more into these guys, I picked out this word salad. Now, you know, people just talk. Bah, 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 you know, the cows that milk the chicken that jump the fence into an economic, power that eventually led to atomic kiniko. You can just hearing or saying jargons. But there are people who are very good at that, like that. And that's not how leadership should be. But you would think that's the beginning, right? When he left that show, they took him straight to go and meet Nigerian soldiers who are stationed in Guinea-Bissau. So there is this contribution. It's like, let me make a kind of additional explanation about this Ecowas thing, the idea behind it, okay? If to say, indeed, they respect that group, that association. Number one, democracy would have been like something that is like normal, growing, and nurtured by these guys. As they are sitting down talking about democracy, another one sitting there is a coup plotter. Or there's an empty seat. There are empty seats of countries who are like, who have coup plotters and the rest. But you see, the primary aim was that if all of them comes together, the movement of goods and services, people and business between these countries, they will be very easy and smooth. You know, Nigeria get crude oil, okay? And Nigeria could indeed help a lot of the, it's been helping a lot of these African countries in the past through these contributions. Nigeria also contributes soldiers into what they call the ECOMOG. You know ECOMOG? Well, Ecowas. So in Guinea-Bissau, there are soldiers of Nigeria working for Ecowas as whatever, providing security for them in Guinea-Bissau. Okay? So Kolu met with them. Come and hear motivational speech from Kolu. Hope, prosperity, safety is here. Hope is here. Ni Guinea-Bissau wiri. Láìsí ní Ìlọrin.
On behalf of the Nigerian Ministry of Defense and the Nigerian
Ministry of Defense, Dr. Abubakar Ibrahim.
As you are aware, Your Excellency, the National Security Act, despite this expenditure that we're involved in, lost to our country. Your Excellency, the leadership Nigeria has been providing has been well, so that with that, Nigeria can actually be supporting ECOWAS.
the former governor of Kebbi, Atiku Bagul. You know him? And then you have distinguished Senator Abu Ibrahim. And you have your brand new NSA, we are here to show solidarity with you. Nothing more, nothing less. We assure you of our commitment to peace and democracy across, not only in West Africa sub-region, but around the world. Nigeria being a very strong leader, political economy of Africa, and a giant solidarity with you. And hearing that the allowances are paid up to date, then nothing else to make you angry. We continue to build a virile force. We are very proud of you. Proud of your commitment, proud of your loyalty, and we will not abandon you at any given time. Nigeria depends on you. Nigeria will show the world that you are responsible and you are focused, that you represent that country in a way, in many times and many ways, that could provide peace and happiness to other nations. I want to say thank you very much for what you are doing. I share with you the joy of doing it, but I know some of you will miss home, you'll be homesick. Just tarry on, tarry on. There will be peace and progress in our country. Thank you very much.
It's becoming so kind of funny now. A lot of you don't actually like listening to him anymore. Is it because you can easily get pissed off of the jargons, meaningless, stuff he actually says or something, or like combination of everything? It's Kolu now. We said we'll kind of be using him to laugh. Anybody who listen to Kolu with a sort of a rapt attention, like you want to pick something out of it, Baba, you feel end up in the emergency room with this banging headache. So kind of like, when you're having this migraine, and you're also angry. Imagine that state. So don't listen to Kolu like you want to listen to somebody who has something intelligent to say. It is just for you to see through what some people, what supposedly normal people look at, and they tell you, is the best for Nigeria. I'm just saying, don't look at him like because you don't like him. No, don't. Okay? Because if you do that, you're going to miss out on what is really going on and happening. Some people are impatient and they're like, no, I don't want to, I don't want to, just fast forward it. Okay. Just tell their court to remove him, because if the court no remove him, you have to get used to him. Remember that of Bokwari? You know that Bokwari, no matter, it got to a stage that people are looking for interpreters. When they are watching Bokwari, they will bring somebody to be typing it in English, as if to say, now French Bokwari they speak. And that's how you had to manage him for 80 years, Abi. That one served now like torture, life drama. But I don't know. Like, you just have to get used to it too. Well, again, could you make any sense out of everything is said there? Like, you are addressing the soldiers, Nigerian soldiers in another country, okay? And kind of having word and all that, showing understanding about this geopolitical, West African, whatever, countries and all that. There's nothing. Did you hear the way he was talking, right? You will feel sorry, especially if you know that how substanceless he is. Then the phone, oh dear, phone power. You feel callous phone. Like, you know. So don't go and watch Tinubu's video or any interview with the expectation of you want him to talk like they are celebrating him in Nigeria right now. Guess what? Some supposed intelligent, educated and intelligent people, they are bragging. They say, I love this new version of Tinubu. You know that new version? The version that doesn't read it doesn't read anything on paper. It just speak, it talk. So do you know what that means? Mean for them, right? Or mean to them? They are celebrating it in Nigeria. Kolu defeated other West African presidents to emerge as the leader of West African head of states. That's the news in Nigeria. I'm not joking. And guess the source of the news? Dele Alakori. Now listen to this. This is source from the place, okay? It's not much. I mean, don't get too angry, okay? Just listen.
President's visit to Guinea-Bissau. Is there any interest that Nigeria has?
Oh, of course. Nigeria has enormous interest in the stability of the entire West African sub-region, if not the entire African continent. Don't forget, Nigeria is the biggest country in terms of everything, in terms of all parameters, all indices of a great country that you can mention. Nigeria has it above other African countries.
Pay attention to the usage of words, all right, by Dele Alakori. They are intentional. This is how they begin to kind of groom them, put it in their head. The whole world, they can't wait to meet Kolu. The whole world, they marvel when they see all the policies of Kolu. Nigeria is the biggest country. Nigeria is the biggest and everything. And there's no way anybody, you know what I mean? All those kind of, yeah, pay attention, please. They are all lies. Take it from me. 100% lies. Now, watch again.
President's visit to Guinea-Bissau. Is there any interest that Nigeria has?
Oh, of course. Nigeria has enormous interest in the stability of the entire West African sub-region, if not the entire African continent. Don't forget, Nigeria is the biggest country in terms of everything, in terms of all parameters, all indices of a great country that you can mention. Nigeria has it above other African countries, black African countries, if you may say. So it's in the stability of the entire West African sub-region, as I said, because of obvious reasons. Nigeria is the big brother of all the Ecowas countries in West Africa. 1, 2. Even in terms of economic dependence or interdependence, Nigeria, you can say with all sense of responsibility, is the economic giant of this sub-region. And so all countries along the west coast of Africa look up to Nigeria for leadership and for bringing or shoring up or enhancing the dignity of the black man. Forget not, Nigeria is the biggest concentration of Africans, black Africans, as a nation anywhere else in the world. It's reputed to be 1 out of every 5 Africans is a Nigerian. So Nigeria contains the largest number of blacks in a territorial environment in the world. So that counts for something significant. Nigeria's leadership role in Africa generally, and specifically in West Africa, cannot be overemphasized. And that's why take Guinea-Bissau, for instance, where we are now. The Nigerian contingent, troops to ensure stability in this country, is the largest out of all the Ecowas countries' stabilization troops that are here. And the president has just addressed them. You were all there, we were all there together. The commander there told us they are the best equipped, the best motivated, the best mobilized, and all that. So there is no gainsaying the fact that Nigeria's presence, our president's presence here, don't forget the ECOWAS meeting is also holding tomorrow, and everybody is looking up to Nigeria taking over the mantle of leadership of the ECOWAS community, the organization. And that's another pointer to the fact that every one of them recognizes the fact that Nigeria should assume the leadership role. Even when we went to Paris the other day, about 2 weeks ago or 3, most presidents, so many heads of states, were falling over themselves to meet with the Nigerian president, with President Tinubu. And every one of them that he could accommodate did say emphatically that they were happy that Nigeria is now back in the global affairs. Nigeria is now back on the world stage or the global stage and is really proving its mettle simply because of the progressive policies of this current president in the last 1 month. So this has come to be emphasized here in Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau is a very small country. It has resources, oil and gas, and it has the largest mangrove forest area in the world. Over 10% of the entire land area is mangrove forest. And that signposts a lot of things that will be there. So apart from these economic indices and resources,
they are going to get you angry or annoyed, okay? But everything, okay, let me ask it again. That 4 minutes clip that you just watched now, could you make any sense out of anything he said? The spokesperson for the president should have an idea why they are in Guinea-Bissau. Abi, apart from telling you, Nigeria is the biggest, Nigeria is the biggest, is the black nation there, this is a big one, is a leadership program, is this, apart from saying all of that, like what could you actually take out of what he said Tinubu was doing in Guinea-Bissau? Could you pick anything? Other than it's a big brother, it's a big artist, it's a big for nothing. But Guinea-Bissau, Fino Rishekitio. Sorry, Jare, my Guinea-Bissau brothers. Bonjour. Comment tu t'appelles? Je m'appelle. Coupe, bam, bam. Something like that, The entire Guinea-Bissau, Fino Richekiti. Just like you will see the entire Togo, entire Benin Republic, they no reach Ogun. And that is where Dele Alakori was. And he also said, Edo State world leaders, they were falling over themselves to see Kolu. Where are the videos? Where are the pictures? Kolu that became Musu, Olongbo. Now, those eyeballs, some people recognize them inside the crowd. Remember, when we're looking for him, where was he? Where is Kolu? Nobody see Kolu. Where they see him? They say he was observing. Then we saw him in a corner when the camera was going around like that. Nigeria president, their world leaders were falling over their heads. It was like they're like Musu. Now, when they look up like this, that. Nigeria president. Oh. Now, Dele Alakori went to Ekiti State of West Africa. Nasarawa State of West Africa. And he was sending his message from there was that Nigeria is big this, Nigeria is big that. Like I said, word salad, empty talk, no nothing, no substance. This one's Bokwari. When Bokwari was president of Nigeria, that was when the coup happened, Burkina Faso. The coup happened in Mali. This Guinea, she not the Guinea-Bissau, which one? And at the Guinea-Bissau, coup happened there. In fact, I feel like say the person will invite himself now the coup leader. Because from that Guinea, okay, no, now that one of Mali, okay. You get what I'm trying to say here is that Nigeria, Bokwari was president of Nigeria. When this coup happened, Nigeria no fit do anything. Baba, me I no dey too young. When president of Sao Tome and Principe visited Nigeria, how old were you then? And then they announced that there is a coup in Sao Tome and Principe. Obasanjo's guest arrived Nigeria as president of Sao Tome and Principe. Within hours, he became ordinary Sao Tome and Principean visiting Nigeria, not as president anymore. Obasanjo gave them 24 hours to reinstate him. The following day, Obasanjo put him inside his own plane, Nigeria presidential plane. He flew straight to Sao Tome and Principe. Mileti now, sure you remember. Do you remember that story? Big brother Nigeria around that time. A lot of you felt like, oh, more, hey, see show. Military takeover in a country. Obasanjo flew the private presidential jet from Nigeria, put their president inside, and he flew to Sao Tome and Principe, and he told them to reinstate him. They reinstated him the following day or 2 days later. It was after because they can't attack president of Nigeria. Initially they said Obasanjo shouldn't land. The drama lasted for a few hours. Obasanjo landed in Sao Tome with their president, overthrown president too. 24 hours or 48 hours later, they reinstated him. Bokwari Weri, the lifeless Megadi, was being paraded as the leader of Nigeria. Now, small Mali, tell us, behave yourself, no come here. We don't remove that your party. No come here. If you come here, we go, no try them. A week later, they told France to leave their country, leave their territory. You know the story now. Nigeria, no, if you do anything. So today, the drug lord, went to go and visit one of their drop points, transit route, Guinea-Conakry, Guinea-Bissau. Abi, Kilon Shen Guinea. Waiting that they do for Guinea. Tokoja, drug trafficking law, depot. So now they are celebrating that in Nigeria anyway. So yeah, he has promised them they will not allow any coup again in West Africa. And these ones who have already started coup, we are going to make sure democracy say, bobo and sobo. Then after the whole thing, after everything they recorded, call you this, you know what I mean? They take them back to the destabilized Nigeria or destabilizing Nigeria. And as usual, the drama is already landed in Abuja. Here is a clip from that same Abuja earlier. They opened the door for Kolu to descend. in Nigeria, where it is happening. The last, maybe if you are up to date or if you are not, I can quickly just bring you up to date, okay? Since May 29th, when Bokwari handed over to Tinubu, to yesterday, the total number of 647 Nigerians have been slaughtered, killed by terrorists from Plateau State to Borno State, from Borno back to Benue. 20 young men were slaughtered this past weekend in Benue State. I mean, by Fulani terrorists. In Borno State, the ISWAP terrorists who have resumed operation fully, they captured some fishermen and farmers and they slaughtered them. Then they now ban fishing in the entire Masiodi community. They have names, though. In Borno State, where the shitty man comes from, right? Areas like Katikime, Bolungahe, Kutu Kungula, Shekungudu, Tumbuma, Gumakura, Gumagana, and the New Marte. These 8 or 9 communities are riverine communities in Borno State. If they catch you as fisherman, you are as good as dead. There is already a fatwa for that. And the reason why they are hunting and killing them, remember, before Bokwari handed over to Tinubu, today, more than 40% of landed area of northern Nigeria are no longer under the control of Nigerian government or authority. In some part of northern Nigeria, Nigerian government, Nigerian authority, Nigerian security, they have abandoned these areas, communities, local government, they have abandoned them. In fact, somehow in some places, they have redesigned a political administration of these states without telling the rest of Nigeria. Example is Borno State. Out of almost 30 local governments in Borno State, ladies and gentlemen, over 20 of them are controlled fully. When I say control, I say fully controlled by ISWAP terrorists, the Boko Haram terrorists. They will tell you this part, this part, this part. If you cross that part, anything where you see me, you get. Nigerians are still there. In some places, they have already issued them different receipts as tax receipts. They are now paying their taxes to these terrorists. This is not new. I'm just reminding you, okay? And that is why when Tinubu and his gang, who had no clear plan or anything on how to actually say, oh, we're going to get them, we're going to prosecute them. For the first time, you're going to see these criminals pay for their crimes. There was no agreement. There was nothing like that. Other than hope is here, safety is here, security is here, food is here. And then you see them, hey, and the rest. Nigerians are paying taxes to terrorists in Nigeria. So what did they do in Borno State? They redesigned the political administration of the state without telling the rest of Nigeria. At a point, the local government chairmen of all these local governments, and all the people from all these local government areas who could escape, who managed to escape, they converged them around the state's capital. So, in order for the allocation for all the local government areas, including the ones that anything administration, government administration, they have died for years now. Sure you get. So yeah, they came back. They said all these fishermen, all these farmers, they are working as spies for Nigeria government. Here you get. And let me also kind of tell you something too. You see, Nigeria is not fighting terrorism, so to say, or in any way actually fighting. No, they are not. Do you know that the most successful victory that Nigeria recorded against all these terrorists ever were not from Nigeria or by Nigeria or Nigeria military? They are mostly from these terrorists who have now become, you know, rivals in claiming and controlling territories. So to control any territory, you know, before now, Boko Haram was like one. And as they were spreading, they were choosing leaders for them. So immediately after the death of Alhaji Shekau, they divided into Boko Haram 1, Boko Haram 2, ISWAP 1, ISWAP 2, Fulani terrorists. So from that moment, they became like 5 different terrorist groups. So whenever you hear that ISWAP killed Boko Haram, the Nigerian newspaper will be celebrating and say, oh, 15 Boko Haram terrorists died. When you read the news, it's the ISWAP that attack Boko Haram, or Boko Haram attack Fulani terrorists, or Fulani terrorists attack ISWAP, like something like that. That's how they have like taken themselves out. Anyway, they killed those they could kill, and they warned others, don't come here. You are spies. You are those who go about to tell where we are, who we are, what we are doing, because you don't want to obey the law of the land. Because it's like 2 laws now. Well, anyway, there's always been more than 2 laws. There is a report from Plateau.
Militia group invading part of Plateau State have intensified their onslaught in recent times and reported to have killed over 500 people within the last 2 months in Mangu, including women and children, despite presence of security operatives. Addressing newsmen in Jos, the National Association of the Mwagavul people said over 18,000 people have now been displaced and their farms turned into grazing fields by the herders.
People refuse to be provoked. It is therefore surprising that our attackers, who have destroyed our villages and killed our people in large numbers, are the ones that are crying most.
Magban had also accused operatives of Operation Rainbow, a state-owned security outfit, of attacking their members in Mangu, but the leadership of the Mwagavul people refuted the claim, calling on President Tinubu to declare them a terrorist group.
We therefore strongly suggest that the federal government should declare Magban a terrorist organization because of the heinous crimes that its members are perpetrating in various parts of Nigeria.
In another development, following an overnight attack in Mangu, which claimed the life of 12 people, the Plateau State Commissioner of Police, Bartholomew Onyeka, in company of the Special Advisor to the Governor on Security, General Shipi, had the very difficult task of calming down the youth who were infuriated by the response of security agencies during the attacks.
We are all concerned about what is happening here. We are here to ensure that all the things that are happening here stops. I've made fresh deployments to Mangu.
As at the time of filing in this report, some residents were seen fleeing from their communities as a 24 hours curfew has been put in place in Mangu local government area to forestall further attacks. Masani, Dan Kwada, AIT News.
That is Nigeria. And you heard the numbers. Abi? Over 500 people killed in that part of Plateau State in 2 months. 500 in a place. In Benue, it has started to be the harvest of death and bodies again. In 8 years of Boko Haram, Fulani terrorists, they turned Benue State that used to be called the food basket of Nigeria. Benue State turned to the graveyard of Nigeria, kind of, or the burial ground center of Nigeria. Thousands of people were slaughtered, including women and children. Others displaced. Nigerians are living as refugees in their own country, sleeping in the open field, in the cold, in the rain, whatever it is. Children, women, aged, vulnerable, sick, all of them who escaped in the hands of these murderers, who has never been punished, by the way. So the last time that they had to make Kolu say something about the atrocities of the Fulani terrorists in Nigeria, it was when they killed the daughter of the Yoruba socio-political group called Afenifere then, Pafashonoti. How many of you remember that? Where are the cows? Well, it wasn't Presidiot then. Now he is. We hope it's not going to be, same statement like this. How many of you remember this? Where are the cows?
It has been destined that that is the way she will go. You can't change what is ordained by God. You cannot change it. One way or the other. If she be dead by road accident or any other means, she will. It's just a premature death. But that is very close to me. I've disclosed that one. You don't have to exhibit it. Only 4 or 5 days ago, we had our chat. We on WhatsApp to one another. I know what she, discussed. I know what she even discussed about Baba's health conditions. So we just pray that this one will not happen again.
Sir, people are worried that these attackers are ex-men. Are you not concerned about this?
Excuse me, I am extremely concerned about security. Okay? I don't want a stigma. I can go through history of kidnapping, and you are matured enough. We know how it started, where it all started. There are a lot of copycats. How many years ago have we faced insecurity in this country and cases of kidnapping? It's Evans who was arrested and the disclosure thereafter. A Hartman. I don't want to be political. I will ask you, where are the cows?
Where are the cows? So maybe it's going to be asking everybody again that, where are the guns? Where are their flags? How are you sure? Well, we hope that a lot of you will understand the consequences of a bad government, bad leadership. It doesn't spare anybody, not even their most loyal supporters. The reality on ground tells you a lot. Even you may be telling yourself otherwise. But the reality, won't lie, or kind of, hope is here, prosperity is here, and the other blah, blah, blah is here. You will think they actually meant hope is here for you, or prosperity is here for you. Ladies and gentlemen, the conversation going on right now is about those who are going to come and help Tinubu finish you completely. And they are called ministers. Since the time they announced Kolu and inaugurated Kolu as your president, a lot of you have been seeing the old known faces of rogues. I mean, including those ones that were actually caught in the web under trial one time or another. Immediately, Kalu emerged. You started seeing the people like Asari Dokubo, people like James Ononofe, Ibori, Ononofe. You started seeing some of all of these guys hopping and jumping around, right? These are the people who are bringing the hope for you. Ladies and gentlemen, at least for those who kind of won't be so surprised, Tinubu's ministerial list is almost out. And guess those who have populated that? Former governor, former this, former that, and including former commissioner this, former special advisor this in Lagos. Now, some are kind of, it was like a compensation thing, right? Werewike, is being, they are pushing the case of Werewike to be a minister. You remember Wike that said, me, minister. Are you serious? Me, go to come and appointment, minister, me. No, he wants to be a minister. And there are others too who are like coming up and they are like your former governor, this, and former that. So it's going to be like the congregation or congregation of criminals. And me, I can peep through after the dust is, when the dust settles, because a lot of you are, I mean, you remember former governor, Ogun State governor, Gbenga Daniel, he's a senator now, right? He's a senator, APC senator from Ogun State. Now, they kind of pointing and say, oh, Gbenga Daniel could be a minister. Or a Bikunle Amosun. Or, you know what I mean? That's from my own state too. So currently, politicians are now, these are not actually like new politicians. These are like your regular old thieves, okay? They are taking space. And when they now finally release the list, it's going to be like a superstar. What say they call that thing again? Superstar dead, superstar studded. You will see all your famous criminals. All right? Both in politics and in private sector. Me, I don't see the list too. Sure you get. And from it, I can only shake my head for you. And that is why Shore has something to say earlier. I want to share that with you. And it is that if things continue